Hi. Okay, so this is about the comprehensive uh, program on the AO scanner. And so if you go, I'm going to show you just so you can see exactly. I'm going to walk you through it and what we can do and what the available options are on it. Okay, so we're back to our program list. So this is just at the beginning when you're going in, and so you can see all the things that are available to you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go into our comprehensive tab here. And so you can see comprehensive. On the top, it says the intelligent scan. And so we're going to just, so in this program, so this is a program again that's included in your scanner. And so this program provides a comprehensive look at how the imbalances in the inner voice. So again, remember we did the inner voice, right? Where it's taking that energetic screenshot, snapshot of your harmonics based on your voice. So the emotions that are coming through, the feelings that are coming through. And what it does is it looks at how the imbalances in the inner voice and the vital scan combined are affecting the body's anatomy, right? So remember, it's we need to understand the entire body works together, right? Nothing is separate, it's all working together. And so this scan, the comprehensive scan, will show you how this works. So it also includes the multiple options for custom scanning and optimizing as well. So remember, it doesn't only just scan you and tell you what's out of range, it actually sends the optimizing frequencies as well, which is pretty cool. And then it'll show you the areas that are need your focus or that have area interest, and it creates a detailed report on those. So it's great information that you can go in, especially if you're working on healing something, you can go in and you can take a look at what's coming up for you and look at what your um, range, what your frequencies were before optimization, and then how they are after optimization, which is pretty cool as well. So we go into the AO scan again. So this is, again, our comprehensive. So you'll see this, we already went through, this is the inner voice. It's the same thing. We go in there, we run this. It's going to record our voice for 10 minutes. And with the comprehensive scan list, you can see in here what I can do now is I'm going to add in parts of anatomy in the body. What it's doing for me here is it's going to check off the things that it feels are most important. This is the coolest thing that I love about the AO scanner is that the more you use it, the more intuitive it becomes because the more information, it's like it creates a database based on you, based on your frequencies. And so it knows at any given moment, um, what your trends tend to be. So, like where there are parts of your anatomy, your physiology that need more attention, and it shows it in the reports, which is cool because then you take that information and then you can target that specific information. If you were using this on a client, that's the same way that you would do it. So, for here, for me, you can see it's showing my upper body, it's not showing that it's going to scan any of the chromosomes. It's going to show my ears, my eyes, my heart, my some muscles in my legs. You can see all these. Now I could go and I could select them all. Like if I was running this for a client, or if I was looking for something specific for myself, I would go in and I would just select them all. And then when I run the scan, it's going to go in there and it's going to scan every single part of that. Now that's, and it doesn't take very long to do it either. It's pretty quick. And so you just do this by hitting the scan button. It goes in and starts to run the scan. And you'll see it tells you on here where it's going. So for me, it's just going to go through the things that are most coming up out of balance for me. And these are, and this is where I love this too, because this is where you get great validation. Again, the more you use it, the more intuitive it gets. Because remember, every single time you run one of these scans, it's just taking a snapshot of where you are energetically in that moment. Now that moment changes all of the time, right? That's why really truly, if you understand how the physiology works in the body, when you go and get a blood test done as an example, it's a snapshot in that moment, right? Remember that, and that changes. Now, there's a lot of things that if we have things that are out of balance, there will be trends of it. So we'll see it, it will be repetitive, and that's how we know when things need our attention, right? So we run that scan, it will give us the report. And then what we can do is we can then also, and I'll move this so you can see, we can go in and we will optimize these frequencies. And so by clicking this, what it's now going to do, and this is the cool part about it because you're getting a healing, this is coming in and healing. It's going to go in and all of the frequencies that it scanned for you that were out of balance, so out of alignment, it's now going to send the balancing harmonics, the balancing binaural, the balancing rife, the balancing scalar frequencies to you so that it will help to bring everything back into balance for you, which is pretty cool. Now, here's your report. This is available for you. You can click on the bottom. This is the report for you. It goes into great detail, like great detail about everything that is in alignment for you and everything that is out of alignment for you. Again, this is not something that you need to if you are working on something that you're trying to heal, this is a great wealth of information. It can be as simple though as you going in there and running the scan and then running the balancing frequencies. It can be that simple. And so what we would look for in here is what comes up in the report. We want to look at things that are coming up least in balance. So when we look at here, we say the percentage from ideal. So meaning this would be my left ear. So the we're wanting it to be at 0%, right? So this is saying it's 32% from being ideal. So we want a lower number on that. So that if it's a lower number, we know that everything's okay. So this means that my left ear is 32% away from being ideal, which is not bad. And when I'm working with clients, when we're working on things, I really can only look at things that are like 50 and higher. Then we know that there's some work that needs to be done there, and that'll show up. So I can see here that my right ear is a little bit less than my left ear. So that shows you, right? Can show you the difference between the two. Now, it's interesting because for my eyes, I've been working on some things with my eyes, and I love the way that the AO scanner picks this up. But if you look at, so my left eye is 30% away from being ideal, and my right eye is 33% away from being ideal. Now, I've been working on them, so those numbers are getting better, but my right eye is noticeably worse than my left eye. And so it's interesting how that does show up in the scanner. And it goes into great detail. So you can see in here, right, the right cornea, the right lens, it goes into great, great detail. You're not necessarily going to need all of that information, but it's there for you, right? You can then take that information and you could take it to your eye doctor and you could say, well, you know what? My right retina keeps on coming up on my scanner. Is that something that we can look at, or is there a reason that it could be the reason for why I'm feeling what I'm feeling? So we can use that information, right? And so here, remember, and don't get scared about these numbers. Don't be like, oh my God, my heart anterior cut is 52% away from being ideal, because that's a high number. Remember, this is just a snapshot of what your anatomy physiology is doing in that particular moment. This changes because I guarantee you in 2 hours, if you run the program again, run the scan again, your numbers are going to change, and they should. That's what we want to see, right? It's a constant ebb and flow in our body. What we want to pay attention to is we want to pay attention to things that are constantly going out of alignment, right, and showing up physically in our body, right? That's what we want to pay attention to. And anything that's a little bit higher, right? So the left leg muscles, it could be that you were working in the garden that weekend, and so they're sore. But then when you don't, then you'll look at it and it'll be fine. So don't get stuck on these numbers. So example, so here, my torso right now is coming up at 0. So that means that everything in my torso in this moment is fine. Everything there's nothing to work on in there. And so you don't see a lot of zeros. That doesn't, I'll just be honest with you, don't see a lot of zeros. And that's because we're constantly changing, right? You're constantly moving in and out of balance, unbalance, wellness, unwell, right? That's how it goes. But look at the information in this. Like it's just it's amazing. And if you're a little bit of a, science medical geek like I am, you will appreciate this stuff. You will be able to go in there and take a look at this stuff. This is a really another cool thing that you can do. And again, this is only going to be if you're like a, a science junkie. But just as an example, okay, so a lot of people don't know much about the anatomy of their body, and that's okay because we don't usually know about it until something goes wrong. But in here, look what we can do. We can click on this little person on the side there, and it's going to it generates a 3D picture of the anatomy. This is so cool. And so just look at, so we are looking at we were looking at the adrenal glands, right? So look at, if I turn that body around and I go in here, there are the kidneys and there are the adrenal glands sitting on top of the kidneys. So isn't that neat? Like if you were talking to somebody, or maybe you didn't even know where your adrenal glands were, where your kidneys were, you can literally sit there and then we can bring in other systems, right? We can bring in the bones, we can bring in the other organs, we can move everything, we can take everything away so that it's just those organs we're looking at. And so look at how cool that is. So that's sitting in your low back. Those are your kidneys and your adrenal glands in your low back. And it's showing this is your urinary system. Isn't that neat to see? So you can go through and you can do that with every single body part in here. This is also another thing, the vertebra. So I work with a chiropractor. I go to a chiropractor for adjustments regularly. And it's always very, very neat because he's got a very expensive scanning program that he uses, right, when he's going through me. But it'll be often when I come in there to see him, the stuff that came up in my scan that I did, it shows exactly the same on his. So it's great validation. So those, you can see there's so much information that you can get from there, like so much information. And that is when we go in and do the comprehensive scan. And again, I'll show you, this is available. We can do this in the easy scan as well. So there'll be another video on the easy scan. Now remember, when you do this through your own subscription and you're running your own AO scan program, and you've done it through me, I am the contact that will be helping you through this. So again, I know for me, when I first got it, I played with it lots. Like I was using it because I was sick, right? I needed to get better. And I was learning so much about why I was sick and what systems were out of alignment and what I could do that would help it. I know I keep saying this word, but it was a wealth of information that really helped me. And the more you use the AO scanner, again, it becomes more intuitive. It intuitively understands your patterns. It intuitively understands your weaknesses and your strengths in there and shows it through your body, which is pretty cool. Okay, so check out more videos for more information about the AO scanner. And remember, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me through email, which is info@jody-jones.com, or you can leave comments with the videos.